Mr. Cord Sterling, who is on our Board of Supervisors, represents the Rock Hill District. And I also consider him, no deference to Mr. Dudenheffer if he's still here, but I consider Cord one of the more fiscally conservative members of our board. And so join me in welcoming Cord Sterling.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for having me here this afternoon and coming out yourself. It's important to make sure that your voices are heard because they're not being heard loud enough. I sat there and I tried to figure out what I was going to say today. I sat down numerous times at the computer trying to prepare a statement, and I kept getting frustrated. Frustrated with everything I read in the newspaper, with what I see on TV, with what's going on at the federal government, what goes on with states. You look at California and others that are going bankrupt, what we see going on at local levels throughout this country. The spending is out of control. It's out of control not on needs, but it's out of control on special interests, things that we don't really need. A year ago, this really it became crystal clear. As I came home, the president had just signed the stimulus bill. And I went to my then 10-year-old son. I said, congratulations, you now owe $2,500 more than you did yesterday. He was mad. He didn't get any ice cream. He didn't get any toys. He didn't get a new bike. The only thing he got was a large bill that he is going to have to pay 10, 20 years from now when that comes due. He'll have his bill to pay. He'll have my bill to pay. His sisters are going to be in the same shape. The problem that we're facing in this country is that no longer are we looking out for the next generation. Too many people are looking out for today, and they're putting it on to the backs of our children. I see a lot of the children that are here today. I'm glad they're here today because they need to be heard. You know, the stimulus was just part of it. We've heard a lot about the health care bill today, the problems with it. Perhaps one of the most crystallizing events I found on this particular debate was right after it got signed into law. Those of you who know Chuck Schumer from New York, he went to the floor of the Senate. He was ecstatic. His daughter had just called him. She was graduating or graduated from college. She said, good news, Dad. I don't have to get a job now. I can be on your health care bill. He thought that was great. She gets health care. I get the bill. You get the bill. The senator, he's happy. He just signed into a law, a major piece of legislation, which is going to pass his daughter's costs on to us. You know, it's not just those particular issues which drive me into frustration all the time. You look at taxes. I don't know, those of you who follow things, I get kind of, well, in the weeds on a lot of issues. Those of you who watch our board will know that. Recently, the World Economic Forum came out with its new study on U.S. global competitiveness. Turns out the United States has shrunk. It has gone from the #1 globally competitive country. It has fallen to second place. Okay, that's not too bad, some would say, except we're America. We need to be #1. We don't need to be following other countries.
Yeah!
Two things they said were in the top 3 of the reasons we're not #1. Tax rates, tax complexity. Those of you, 5 days from now, you all owe your taxes. Many of you have probably already done them. I'm still struggling with mine because it is so complex. When I fill out my taxes, and I don't think I have a complicated list of holdings, it's about that thick. The tax complexity and the rates in this country are out of hand. When you combine everything that's at the federal, the state, and the local level, it is out of hand. But it's not just about taxes. We've got to balance the budget. You heard a lot earlier by the speaker before us. He talked about what we're passing on in terms of the total debt. The country is $13 trillion in debt. If you eliminated any future deficits, you then look at how long, cancel national security, the largest appropriation we have out there. Even then, you can't keep up with the interest rates and pay off the deficit, or the current debt. It is out of control. It needs to be shrunk. Also, part of the problem, you will see this at the federal and at the state level, and it comes down to us most noticeably at the local level, mandates. The federal government, they love to pass mandates on down to the states. They'll not raise taxes for those particular things, but they'll claim that they've done something for some special interest group. They'll congratulate themselves. You then have to pay higher taxes at the state level. Turns around, then the state will do the same thing. They will pass a number of issues. They think it's great. They'll tell us we've got to do certain things with the environment, certain things with schools, certain things with government. And they will pass that burden on to us without raising the taxes, so that they can claim to be conservative, but they pass the tax burden on to us.